everyone. Today we are back on with Mr. Joe. And I thank you so much, Mr. Joe, for coming on and joining me tonight on this live where we will be talking about Haitians in the Dominican Republic. Winners or losers? But let me begin with bonne fête de mai avec toutes mes qui aux États-Unis et qui sous tout le monde. Parce que moi, connais, jodi, c'est pas fête de mai pas nous, mais c'est fête de mai toute mother qui aux États-Unis. So I want to thank you guys so much. Happy Mother's Day to all of the mothers. And I thank each and every one of you guys for all of the Mother's Day wishes. Thank you guys so much. On tonight's live, we're not here to point the fingers, but to understand what's going on and what's really happening and what's driving the mistreatment of Haitians in the Dominican Republic. And what role does the U.S. and others play in what's going on between Haitians and Dominicans? So, as we get the show started, we encourage you to please share the live and share your thoughts as well on the live, and ask yourself as we get into the live if it was one of your brothers, family members, sister, wife, or husband who had been exposed to something similar to what we are talking about or what Haitians have been documented to endure in the Dominican Republic. Would your opinion be for or against it as we get into the live? Mr. Joe, welcome yourself again to the rest of the family. Those who may and may have not seen you, how's it going today?
Oh, hey, every day's a good day above ground.
That's what's up. What'd you do today? How's the day been?
Uh, Doing yard work, uh, making a couple of runs. I got my second cell phone set up today. I went to T-Mobile. Just a little miscellaneous stuff, taking care of stuff in the house, doing a little washing clothes, ironing. Yeah.
Yes, what's up? Me too. Today I was able to get some rest. I did nothing. I enjoyed this beautiful day, Mother's Day. I enjoyed today. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please share the live. Today, I want us to talk about real situations. Example, Haitians being removed from hospitals, especially pregnant women to be deported, workers who are being rounded up from work sites. And these are the workers who are the backbone of DR's tourism and construction industry. Yet these are the people we see that continue to be devalued. I want to ask you, how can a country thrive on the labor of a group of people, but treat them so inhumanly at the same time? Do you think that? I'm gonna let you answer that question because you've been to the Dominican Republic and you pretty much have some knowledge with what's happening between Haitians in the Dominican Republic.
Well, let me just put a little disclosure out before we go. The opinions and viewpoints of the Italian Stein doesn't necessarily represent life in Haiti or our host.
Mhm.
Okay.
And it's
Uh,
true.
all right. So, uh, you know, no, I mean, none of it's right the way they're doing things. I mean, yeah, like I said, they're taking advantage of the situation, with the cheap labor. And like I said, I've known enough people over there. I've talked to, I've watched enough videos, I've read enough reports. I could pretty much draw a conclusion, of at least from my viewpoint, of what needs to be done and how it should be handled, at least through immigration.
You may continue.
Okay. Well, I mean, how far you want me to go into it? I mean,
No,
yeah.
oh, please excuse me. I thought it was because I turned the phone on. You can produce what you in there. So what would draw, why? I can understand illegal immigrants, as far as immigrants who are committing crimes and who are doing what they are not supposed to do. But what we are seeing today in the Dominican Republic is not that. The people who are the direct target, and it's been said even by officials, they're not offering a path to legalize Haitians in the Dominican Republic. I mean, what would push that? Is that a win or a lose for the Dominican Republic in the long run?
Well, I mean, it appears they won the battle, but they're going to lose the war. I believe, in my opinion, what's driving it, and I've been saying this for years because I've, again, just my knowledge and pulling up information. The Dominican Republic is a third world country, just as Haiti is, except Haiti is, fourth world, fifth world, whatever you want to call it. It has less. There's less there than there is in the DR, but nevertheless, the Dominican Republic is still a third world country. They're not a major player on the stage. Now, some may think they are, but in reality, they're not. But with that said, what I think what drives the behavior of the people to elect the president that's currently in there, maybe some of the elected offices, has been the drain of what a few resources on their public hospital system. And like I said, you can pull up information and see people complaining. The local Dominicans saying, "Hey, I'm not getting the care, or I have to wait, or this or that, because Haitians are coming in and they're getting basically free services. I guess by law they have to provide some basic care. So it's a drain on the resources, and that translates into anger, which translates in when they go to vote. Um, but there's a remedy around it, which I can elaborate on. In my opinion, what I think could resolve it. But I think that's what drove the people in voting the way they did.
Let me ask you, and thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm going to ask the audience a question. Do you think that Haitians should be a direct target in the Dominican Republic, as we've seen lately? We're not speaking on those who are doing things that they have no business doing, but we are speaking about especially a lot of the guys who work on construction sites. We're seeing immigration going into construction sites, restaurants, different areas, and picking up Haitians. And these Haitians, they're wanting to basically sell them off to the rest of the world as if they have no value and they're complete losers to the Dominican Republic. Let me know, guys, what are your thoughts? And please share the live as you come in and let us know where you tuned in from. Let me ask you something, Joe. You've been to the Dominican Republic and spent time there. Do you think the average Dominican truly understand why so many Haitians cross the border?
Yeah, I think they do, only because they know because the island, it's all one island, and they know enough, the news and everything else, and just about everybody around the world knows what's going on in Haiti, especially after the Kenyans arrived. I mean, I could talk to people over in Ghana. They know where Haiti's at now, and they know what's going on. But that's because the whole issue about sending in the Kenyans, which is on the continent of Africa. So everybody, it's on the world stage now for sure. But for the Dominicans, yeah, they know what's been going on for years, for why they're coming over. So, I mean, if they don't, you're living under a rock.
Hmm. Do you think that, for the most part, how the government the message that the government sends out to the rest of the world about Haitians. Do you think that the majority of the population, let's say average everyday Dominicans, feel the same way about the Haitian population living in the Dominican Republic?
Well, it depends. I personally don't think so. Only because there are some Dominicans, contractors, let's say, restaurant owners, there's proprietors that actually benefit by having the Haitians there. I mean, this is where I'm going into about where they might have thought they won the battle, but they're going to lose the war, and that's what the end game is. Because if you take away those guys that are out there building those buildings at the rates that those contractors are paying, in some cases are cheating them and not paying them because they're taking advantage of them. Um, those are the same buildings, businesses, and apartments and everything else that whoever's going to buy those is either going to buy them for their own use or to rent them out to people from other places like the U.S. So from those contractors, they probably don't necessarily share the viewpoint, but if you talk to let's just say somebody, maybe the border city, which you have on your video, which we shared earlier.
Mhm.
Somebody that doesn't have a
I will
business,
share that too. I will
right?
share.
Right. Somebody doesn't have a business. Somebody doesn't have a vested interest, and they're benefiting off the Haitians there. They're the ones that are probably going to be complaining and saying that they need to go back to their country of origin and all that kind of good stuff. So
Mm. In your opinion, do you think that the presence of the Haitian people, do you think that the Dominican Republic is using the Haitians as a scapegoat for the larger issues in the Dominican Republic? Example, their public health, unemployment. Do you think that instead of addressing the issue, that they pretty much use the Haitian people for a scapegoat? Before you reply, let me give a shout out to some of our people in the chat. Arlene, thank you so much. Happy Mother's Day. You look pretty, Miss Marie. Thank you so much. Blue butterflies. Happy Mother's Day to you, Marie. Thank you guys so much. Mr. B says no on television. Says hello, beauty queen. Thank you so much. I don't think the Haitian people should be treated bad. Hmm. You may continue. Thank you so much, Blue Butterflies. Guys, please share the live as we continue. And don't forget, if you've yet to hit the like button, to please hit the like button.
I don't think he's using them as scapegoats, but what I do think is there's a populace that's within that country. Again, it's going to be the person that would probably support the president and all the stuff that he's doing is probably some Dominican that's living in a shanty and what they call it, the campos, the bush as they call it in Ghana, or the rural area here in the States, that just has a little store or just working some job that's actually competing with the Haitians on wages. To that individual, they would look at it and say, yeah, they're the ones that are crying to the mayors of those villages and those small cities, which in turn are making the president aware of what the sentiment is of the poor Dominicans. So from that standpoint, I think that's where it's being driven from, populace. But again, winning the battle is one thing; winning a war is something different.
So, I mean, do you think that it's the Haitian people that's crowding their medical system, the hospital system? Do you think that is exactly just the Haitian people, or is it people in the Dominican Republic who are probably less fortunate in a way? I don't know if I'm saying it right. That's more complaining.
Yeah, well, again, it's all about money. But yeah, I do believe that if you were to ask Dominicans, what's their biggest issue with Haitians in the DR? I mean, now obviously they'll have different issues, and some of it's opinion. But what is the biggest financial issue to you of the Haitians being here? And I think it's going to come down to the public facilities that the Haitians do have access to by law. whatever the Dominican Republic's law is there for public access to hospitals and medical attention, that I would think that's going to be their number one. And we've seen that. I think I talked about this 2 years ago, and then you see what extreme they're going to now, and they're removing women that are pregnant out of the hospitals. So I mean that validates what I said 2 years ago. So I think if that would be the number one thing. The other stuff gets down to the personalities and language barriers, and everybody wants to point fingers at different things, not understanding the culture and all that kind of stuff. But I think that'd be the number one driver if they had to choose.
Do you think that the situation has reached a point that the U.S. should step in? Or shall we say, with the current administration in the U.S., being their strict point of view of immigration, do you think that now the Dominicans feel even more comfortable to do whatever they want to do with the Haitian people because the U.S. current government have that same point of view?
Well, no, I don't. I don't. No, I can't say that they do because these governments operate independently. At the end, this president down there, as well as Trump and whoever else from different countries, it's self-preservation. So, what viewpoint of one country has to another, ultimately, unless there's some money behind it or some sort of sanction or something like that. Short of that, they're in it. They have the sovereignty of their country, and they're gonna do what they need to do within their country itself. Um, Now the question is should the United States be more involved in on this? And I would say yes, because what is the Dominicans' problem today could be the United States problem tomorrow. And what I mean by that is the situation that's going on there. If there isn't some sort of resolution there in the Dominican Republic, you're going to have more Haitians trying to get out of Haiti and go different routes to get to the U.S. or other countries. The path of least resistance is always going to be there. So the easiest way for Haitians to find employment and safety and security would be to cross over the border. I mean, going through Mexico or the Darien Gap and all this stuff we see. I mean, that's a hard way to go, and it's
Mhm.
costs a lot of money. You know, to come over from Haiti to DR is a I don't know $35 bus ticket. And then pay 20 at the gate coming in. It gets you. In that case, it's I mean that's the quickest and easiest way. I'm not saying everybody would do that, but it would cut down on the immigration coming into the United States, let's just say, for example, of Haitians. If they knew they had an easier option to at least get some wealth, some security, and it would be right next door. Um, and in my opinion, the way they really should do it is, at least from the Dominican Republic standpoint, is issue out work visas for these guys. Okay, and
That's one of the issues too, not to interrupt you. The Dominican Republic doesn't offer a way for Haitians to legalize themselves at all in the country. At this time, they do not even offer to the Haitian population.
right.
So even if you wanted to legalize yourself, they do not offer a way for you to do that. So how can a Haitian person even start to legalize themselves when you're in a country that's truly not welcoming?
Well, no, here's the deal. Here's my this is my opinion now. If to resolve the issue, in my opinion, would be for the Dominican Republic, the president, their Congress, whatever it is, to pass a law that says we're going to issue out work permits, not be able to stay. We're going to issue out work permits for whatever period of time, couple years, 5 years, whatever it is, to workers that come into the workers that are needed to come into the Dominican Republic. And I'm thinking about the infrastructure, because there's tons of infrastructure going on down there, whether it's in the northern, Puerto Plata or over Punta Cana or wherever. There's a lot going on there. So, there's roads, there's all kinds of stuff going on being built, right? So and basically they would do is they would they would issue out these permits, and then the contractors would be responsible for paying, and not the workers, the contractors. So if they need 50 people to do on whatever project, they would solicit the government, get the individuals that are coming over to do the work, they would pay them. In addition to it, the contractors would be responsible for taking out some sort of umbrella insurance policy to cover medical costs for these workers and maybe their families if they have families at the public facilities. In my opinion, I think that's a win-win deal because the burden goes on to the contractors, right? And they're getting the labor coming over to work at a lower rate because they got to provide some sort of insurance or whatever it is to locals anyways. And the Dominicans are gonna most of them are not gonna work doing the same jobs at the same rate as Haitians are. So to the contractor itself, that's like a win-win deal, and the government's obviously, the burden's not on their public facilities, and they're getting labor cheap, and then they're able to get these projects off the ground quicker and get them completed faster so they can collect more taxes and more revenue for the government coffers. I mean, to me, it's a win-win deal. That's why just looking at from a critical standpoint, critical thinking. That's why I would do it.
I really do not like to pull out this card. In my opinion, and you guys who are tuned in, please let me know your opinion. Today we are talking about the Haitian population in the Dominican Republic, especially the mistreatment of Haitians in the Dominican Republic. Is it a win or a lose for the Dominican Republic? Before we continue, I would like to play a video that you also shared with me with the audience as we get into the live. Mercedes, welcome everybody, and please share the live, guys, as we continue. Let's listen to this here.
I think that what the people really want is being seen, and the president has to take advantage of this situation, continue with these operations, and not stop, even take advantage of the situation of international organizations, because the United States has no moral authority to ask for repatriations to be stopped in our territory. So we're going to take advantage of this situation. Mr. President, you're doing well. Right now, people are identifying with these types of operations, and we're going to take advantage. We here from the Jabon City Council have already started. We don't want a single Haitian vendor in our municipality. If they want to do business, let them go to the border market, which is the area that is designated for business. Hey, we're not going to allow them to occupy the streets of the Jabon with vendors and anything like that. Under no circumstances are we going to allow Haitians to do business in our territory, to sell bananas, to sell candy, to sell rum. We don't want them in our territory. If they want to do business, they should go to the border market, which is the place designated for that type of activity.
When you listen to this type of message, basically from what I gather, and it is the video, guys, that is naturally low like that, so the volume is at its highest. When you hear an official saying, we do not want Haitians in our markets, we do not want Haitians selling in our market, but then we are okay, we are pleased to have you go and purchase at the border. And I don't want to pull out this card. You guys, let me know what you think who are tuned in. Do you think that when we hear a lot of Haitians say that Dominicans are racist, do you think that this could kind of show a sign that racism does exist from the Dominicans towards Haitians. Not everybody, but maybe some of them.
You asking me?
Yes.
I was losing you in the thought process. Yeah, there's all you're always going to have racism regardless. I don't care where it's at, what country, who it is. Somebody, I mean, again, I'll use my example in Ghana. Yeah, a lot of Ghanaians off to the side have they're racist towards Nigerians, and they'll give you all these different things, which they try to put them all in one box and say they're scammers, criminals, they're causing problems in our country, so forth and so on. It's just I've heard this when I go over there, and to me, when they say stuff to me, I just say this is a regional problem that you need to resolve. This isn't, as an American, we don't look at it that way. At least most Americans don't. But like I said, Nigerians they're just as black as the Ghanaians are, but yet Ghanaians will say, either openly or off to the side, they won't rent to Nigerians. I've heard them say if they have places to rent, they will not rent to Nigerians flat out. So it goes on everywhere. It's about economics and perception.
But economically, do you not think that Haitians, being that we are DR's closest neighbor, that we have been an asset to the Dominican Republic economically?
Oh
If
yeah, yeah,
if that's how someone would look at it. Because you got
yeah.
to look at history too. They have other immigrants who are in the Dominican Republic, but you hear the direct target is the Haitian people. How could you not say or think that there is racism there is towards Haitians?
Well, it's about money. Again, when I go there, I'm an immigrant coming in there. I might be just there for a month or so, but I'm an immigrant. But I don't get that type of treatment. Why? It really comes down to, and other people from other countries, because most other countries that come there to visit the DR are coming with money. They're bringing in more money than the locals have. So from that standpoint, they feel, why would you kill the golden goose? They're there to spend money. A Haitian doesn't contribute that much money like an American would, but they're contributing and building the country, help build the roads, or helping build the apartments, the Airbnbs I stay in. When I go to a restaurant to eat, I'm there eating. I mean, there might be a Haitian waitress serving me. When I get my room cleaned, but I don't stay in hotels anymore, but when they come in, there might be a Haitian girl coming in to clean the room. So they're contributing in a basic way to keep the Dominican Republic up and coming. I mean, so yeah, from that standpoint, yeah. So it's all in that case. I think it's all really about money.
Hmm. Pan America, hold on a second. 17 viewers, guys, and only 6 likes. Let's get the likes up, guys. Let's get friendly with the algorithm. Please share the live as you come in. Today, we are talking about the mistreatment of Haitians in the Dominican Republic. Is it a win or a lose for the Dominicans to eradicate Haitians out of the Dominican Republic? Which, I'll give my honest opinion at the end. Mercedes says, not sure, but I do believe there is a very long history of hate between DR and Haiti. Would you admit that?
Yeah, there's a history there. Yeah, that's not positive. It goes back hundreds of years.
You
Yeah,
don't
but
think that the history is positive, that there is standing hate between Dominican Republic and Haiti?
Yeah, there. No, there's positive and negative, but it depends on who you ask, and how knowledgeable the person is. I mean, I'm not an expert in that area. I know there's been some, there's been some negative, and there's been some positive, depending on who you ask and what time frame. But if we're talking about today, this is about business. And this is where the Dominican government is losing the war, because when they pick up these guys and throw them in a paddy wagon, and take them to the border, they're screwing themselves in the long run, because there's nobody to do that work. And then when they do find somebody, they're probably not going to work as hard, and they're going to want probably double the wages. So it's going to increase the cost of construction. It's going to slow it down. I mean, there's a whole bunch of things that they don't even see that's coming at them. So, but if they want to play the short game and look like they're doing something, which they're not, because at the end the people go across the border, they're going to come right back over. All they're going to do is pay off somebody at the border and come right back. So they're pissing away a bunch of money, of their taxpayer dollars to do this, and the work is slowing down. The costs are going up when they do get somebody to do it. In the meantime, they're coming right back over anyways. So it's an exercise in BS.
They're coming right back over. And with the Haitian people, what it was sad, and this is my opinion, if they would really put up a wall and keep Haitians out, it will be one thing. But outside looking in as a Haitian, I feel that that is an intention well for the Dominicans. That's something that a lot of people don't acknowledge or talk about. Because deport a Haitian person, then and there, those same people offer you a road, a guide to get right back in, and with the for a fee. Um, it's a business too for, because into Haiti's economy, it goes back into the Dominican Republic economy. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm going to ask you guys a question. Do you think propaganda is being used to distract people from Dominican Republic bigger problem? Do you think that they're using propaganda, using Haiti to distract people from the bigger issues that Dominican Republic have, and basically trying to say that Haitian people is all of their problems there? Pan Americanism says this generational controversial between Dominican and Haitian is exhausting and getting old. However, people are still suffering from that. And because Haitian people are still suffering, it cannot get old. And there's times I say, you know what, I do not want to, but it's difficult to not do so as a Haitian when you see your Haitian people that continue to suffer. And I understand, because I've shared with you all that in Haiti, the Haitian people continue to suffer. So the Haitian people need to do better too. However, even in the United States, with everything that's happening, there is a humanly way to do things. So it would never get old to defend a nation of people that continue to be mistreated. It's not. It's inhumane. That's if racism was still going on today, and it is. And when some people face it, someone speak up for you, and someone make this statement. Black people mainly, right? That a white person that's like you, Italian stamp, saying, "Well, racism is getting old. You don't want to talk about it." When someone is clearly being discriminated against in front of you, how would you respond to that? Do you think that's fair? Would that be a fair statement coming from you or anyone else around you to say that racism is old, so we need to, it's exhausting, stop speaking about it?
No, it's always going to be there to the end of time. I mean, that's, you know, and people have different ways. The people get, you know, those are usually those type of things are usually sub issues to bigger problems, and it's usually within themselves. Maybe they didn't accomplish what they set out to do. Maybe they weren't motivated. So the easiest way to do is to pull the other person down. I mean, if you know, you know, that's what it comes down to, in my opinion. So it's always going to be there regardless.
Mm-hmm. Mercedes says, but it may not be able being black. It may not be about being black. It's about two different countries. Nigerians and Guyanians don't get along. There are white people who don't get along either. Very true. Claude says exactly what I was saying to Erlene. Erlene says exactly what is going on between Guyanian and Nigerian is prejudice, not racism. And thank you so much, Miss Claude, for tuning in. Mr. Jackson says, hello, Marie and Life in Haiti family. I hope that everyone is doing well. Mercedes say, maybe Haitian people should stop going to the DR. Do you think it will be to the DR's advantage if Haitian people decide to stop going to the DR?
No, it's
And
going.
one second. Thank you so much, Mr. Jackson, for the $5 super chat. Thank you so much for your continuous love and support of Life in Haiti. Thank you. And happy Mother's Day to all the mothers around the world tuning in on this beautiful day. Happy Mother's Day. And thank you, Mr. Jackson, for your continuous love and support of Life in Haiti. Yeah, you may continue.
No, it's going to hurt them because let's just say I'm a contractor. I'm a Dominican contractor, and I'm a multimillionaire. Okay, and I'm going to build a nice, you know, thousand room resort. Right, and it's got all the
Mm-hmm.
pools and the fountains and all that kind of good stuff. Me as a multimillionaire local, I'm paying the government all kinds of fees to do this project. I'm paying taxes on the land I'm buying. I'm paying taxes on the materials I'm buying. Everything all the way down the food chain. If I don't have the labor at a reasonable cost to build it, it's going to drive up my cost to do it. And if it drives up my cost, I may not even do the project. So they're not even going to get, the government's not even going to get all the money and supplies I need to buy to do the project. So they're going to lose out there, and then they're going to lose out because if I do the project and I do hire locals and only because the government won't allow me, they won't issue out work permits for Haitians to come and assist in doing the work, then it's going to drive up my costs. And let's just say I say, okay, I'll eat the cost. Well, they're just going to pass it off to everybody else. So now that room, if I was the room was normally going to go $100 a night, now the you know the cost of the room is 125, 150. Now I'm risking people not flying in to stay there because now the rooms are they're getting out of the price range for the people that would normally stay there. So and if I lose out, I might go bankrupt. I might not. My vacancy rate might be 50% now because people aren't going to pay 150 a night for what a room would normally be 100 because I got to pay double to have a Dominican come in and do the work. To me, it doesn't make any sense. It's a in the long
It
run.
does to me. It does. It really does. And I think that that's where they're gonna see that you may win the battle, but you don't win the war. It does. It needs to be like that because how long should Haitian people allow continue to allow this type of behavior? How long should we overwork for the Dominican Republic, for the Dominican people, and not be appreciated? Their business. Do you think their mistreatment of Haitians could hurt the DR's global image? Do you think that it could affect their economy and tourism?
Yeah, I think it already starting to. You see less people coming in, at least on the North Coast, and I know this because I've seen enough reports and talked to people on the ground. There's less people coming in, and I think that's a contributing factor. So there's a hidden hand that people don't see. When you start looking at revenue coming in the government coffers, they're going to have less money to hire on these immigration people to ride around in a truck, and the paddy wagon and jump off the back of pickup trucks to go chase down Haitians in between buildings and all that. Well, their revenue is going to go down, and they're going to have less money to hire those people to do that very thing. So, in my opinion, they're actually screwing themselves, and they just don't feel it yet, or maybe they are. They're just not willing to admit it.
Hmm. Mr. Jackson says, Mr. Stallion, why would the DR dislike the Haitian people? Good
Well, it's
question.
not. Yeah, it's not everybody. Again, yeah, it depends on who you ask. If you ask a contractor, let's just go back to that example. I'm the multi-billionaire Dominican, and I'm building these big fancy resorts and everything. No, I wouldn't. I would love them. In my opinion, I would love them because they're saving me money. They're getting my work done quicker. So there's a financial incentive as a business relationship to support that. Now, if you're the person, like on that video, that mayor of the border city, if you're a Dominican that lives in a shanty and you're trying to compete, selling goods, let's just say you have a little store, and then you got a store, three doors down that's Haitian that's selling the same things and they're selling it for less, and they're able to use the public facilities. You start adding it all up to those Dominicans, yeah, they would have a certain feel a certain way because they don't see the benefits. They see, they're because they're at the bottom of the economic food chain. They feel the pain. So it just depends on who you talk to.
Hmm. Mercedes says like, share, subscribe, and donate to the channel. Mercedes says, I don't know enough about Dominican Republic or Haiti. Yoli, how's it going? And happy Mother's Day to all of the mothers tuning in. Mercedes say maybe Haitians should travel to Jamaica, Martinique, Aruba, etc. And I agree. I do agree with that. Why would you keep going somewhere that doesn't want you? And Mr. Jackson, I can answer that question because I think, from me being Haitian, I can answer that better. Because of the conditions created within Haiti, that has made it where the Haitian people aren't able to live within their own country. As beautiful as Haiti is, as much as I love Haiti, I understand that it is it is not the easiest place for a citizen of Haiti to live. I believe that Haiti is even more difficult for its own citizens than foreigners coming in to visit. What's sad is as we defend Haitians being mistreated in the Dominican Republic, there's also a huge lapse. There's also a bigger mistreatment of Haitians within their own country. I was listening to a documentary where someone shared, a Haitian young man shared, he would rather hide in the Dominican Republic so that they do not find him than to return back to Haiti. We don't know where that person is from. I've shared with you guys, several times that, just as any other place is big, Haiti is big. And we don't know where some of the people are from and how much they've been affected by what's happening here in Haiti that causes them to make drastic decisions. Another example is healthcare. Now we talked about the overcrowding of Haitians and the women's having children in the Dominican Republic hospitals, and a lot of our Haitian people are saying they would much rather be in the Dominican Republic to be able to have access to health care. So that is why the insecurity that is put in place here in Haiti, where a lot of people feel even if they were to get family members from abroad to help them to start a business, then that business is still a target based on their location in Haiti. So it's the conditions that's created here within our country that have pushed many of our people in Haiti to leave to the Dominican Republic. Manuel Lopez says we in the DR have other issues, but we all agree that mass Haitian migration is our biggest problem, especially with the situation in Haiti with the gangs and the risk of it spilling to our side. What would you say to that comment? And thank you so much, Manuel Lopez, for that statement, for that comment.
I mean, if there's spillover coming over with the gangs into the Dominican Republic, I'm not aware of it. Obviously, I don't live there. I go there a lot, but I've talked to people. I haven't heard anything that to that nature. But if there is going on, yeah, those are the ones that they need to be aggressive with. Some of the videos I've seen, with them doing the roundups and everything, before they put them in the cage, they need to, maybe bang their head on the side of the truck and then put them. Yeah, I mean, those individuals, that's different. That's a different. They're there for no good in those cases. But we're talking about the average person coming over, trying to, working. They're showing up. They're coming to work. They're building the country. I mean, that's what we're really talking about. That's the exception to the rule. If there are gang members that are causing havoc over there, probably to make a public, it needs to be dealt with very aggressively.
You know, I asked, I will ask this question if I have any Dominicans in the chat. How many Haitians have the Dominicans caught in Dominican Republic who are known gang members? How many Haitian people have committed aggravated crimes in the Dominican Republic? I'm not speaking for those people because if you are in the Dominican Republic, if you're in America, if you're in Canada, wherever you are at, that is not your country of origin. If you are not living uh, under the law of that country, whatever happens to you happens to you. But Mr. Lopez, for the most part, most Haitian people in the Dominican Republic are just trying to live. They are not Haitian people who are committing crimes. What crime would you consider someone committing when immigration go to a job site and pick them up? Where is the crime there? When you go into a restaurant and you drag out a waitress who's serving your citizens, what crimes have been committed there? So we are not speaking for anyone who's committing crimes. Those are not the people we're speaking for because majority of Haitian people are not doing that in the Dominican Republic. They just want to live. If DR is truly mistreating Haitians, then Haitians shouldn't be worried about whether or not the DR will be hurt. That's true. Lopez says we mistreat the Haitians so much that they don't want to leave and when they are deported, they want to come back. I wouldn't say it that way. And I'm going to try to word it to the best of my ability. Because of all of the gang activity which is happening here in Haiti, people are in fear. See, back then, when things were happening in Haiti, they were done with maybe machetes, knives, and stuff like that. I've mentioned before that the Haitian population, most Haitians are not violent. Well, now being that the streets of Port-au-Prince, especially, have been trashed with a bunch of guns, people are afraid, and righteously they have a right to be afraid. No one would want to lose their life innocently. So it's not about because the Dominican Republic is treating Haitians so good. Let's not get that mistaken. It is because of the situation on the ground here in Haiti that have a lot of Haitian people living in fear, where they would much rather be chased by an immigration agent than to be chased down by someone with a gun innocently. Do you understand what I just shared? Do you get what I just shared, Mr. Joe? Was
No,
that
yeah, I
good?
understand. I get it.
So don't think that the Haitian people are steady going back because they're just having a wonderful time in the DR. No, it is not that. It is because of the condition that is created here for the Haitian people. The homie, how are you? How's it going? Good evening, LIH family. There are so many other countries to go to. That is very true. That is true. But as you all could see, even in the United States right now, there is issues with immigration, especially with a lot of Haitians who currently traveled out to the United States. Would you like to share any thoughts? We're coming up on an hour. Do you have any last thoughts, any conclusions from your part that you like to share in reference to the situation with DR and Haiti?
Well, other than them, doing due process, the very least, if they want to go down this path, they need to at least have some sort of due process. And from what I've seen on the videos that I've watched, it doesn't look like there's much of any due process. They grab them, they throw them in the paddy wagon, and get to the border and you know open up the little cage and say, point over and say, this is your home. I mean, there's got to be some sort of process, and I don't know how much they're even checking paperwork, because I've heard all kinds of stories about people that were there legally that were being just dumped over there, and then when they find out they made a mistake, oh, in Spanish, we're sorry. Well, sorry doesn't cut it. Where's the compensation? Where's the checks and balances of who did this? So I mean, you know, that's the way I would see it.
Hmm. Well, I just want to tell you thank you. I'm not sure if you want to stay longer with me or you
Yeah,
want to go get you some rest. Do you want to stay longer?
no, we could stay. I'm okay. I seen your message.
All right, all right. There are so many other countries to go to. Believe it or not, Mercedes, it seems that almost everywhere now that the Haitian people are attempting to go, there is an issue. The problem is I think Dominican Republic do it in a way that is so blatant. That is why it gets highlighted a lot more. In the
Well,
Bahamas, there is a
yeah, let me just say this. First,
hmm
somebody made a comment about them going to other places. The Dominican Republic look at the Caribbean. Let's just look at the Caribbean as a whole. The Dominican Republic is the second largest country land-wise next to Cuba. Now, we already know Cuba is a lost cause.
Your voice is a little...
Can you hear me?
Yeah, yes. I hear you, but it was sounding a little...
Okay. Let me start over. From an economic standpoint, the Dominican Republic is actually the fastest growing wealth and growth, compared to the other Caribbean islands. And they're the second largest, land-wise. The only island that's bigger is Cuba. And Cuba's a lost cause. So we're going to talk about Cuba. So from that standpoint, there's a lot of growth going on in the DR, and a lot of people, a lot of expats want to move there. They're not moving to the Bahamas. They're not moving to Jamaica. They're not moving to Aruba, these little teeny-weeny islands that, you can walk across in one day, get from one end of the island to the other. The Dominican Republic is the big game in town. And they're certainly not going to Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is actually losing people over here. And that's an extension of the United States. So it would be, to me, if I was a Haitian, it's the border's right there. All I got to do is pay $35 on a bus ticket, and I could go over where I could probably make a decent living compared to where I'm at right now, and I'm not far from home. To me, that makes sense. Trying to go to the Bahamas, trying to go to Jamaica, trying to go to these other places, the growth isn't there. Forget about how the government would treat them. The growth isn't there in those other countries in the Caribbean.
Jean-Pierre says the hate between them is one-sided. Haitians don't hate Dominicans, and that's very true. A lot of people, when you hear, they'll say there's the hate between the Haitians and the Dominicans. However, Haitians love Dominicans, honestly, and when they are in Haiti, they are welcomed. They are loved. There's no mistreatment on our side. Haitians are not waiting to mistreat the Haitian people. And I want to remind you guys too, as we do these type of lives, that I am aware that it is not everyone in the Dominican Republic, because a lot of Dominicans are married to Haitian people, really love Haitian people. So it is not all Dominicans who feel this way. So guys, please share the live as you come in. Don't forget to please share the live. If you've yet to hit the like button, I am showing there is 8 likes. I'm not sure if my internet is behind. So guys, please hit the like button if you're in the house, and share this live. Share it to your Facebook status, WhatsApp status. Please share it with a friend. And let me know what you think of what's happening with Haitians right now in the Dominican Republic. Many Dominicans like or don't dislike Haitians, but they are silent. Hate, speak, and act louder. Wow. But maybe the Haitian people who leave Haiti should try another country. Yes, we spoke about that. Lopez says, Marie, to have a fair and balanced debate, people should hear from both sides. You should also have a Dominican counterpart to listen to their side of the story. And I remember I did a live on FBA, and it was one-sided. So if you are watching and you are Dominican and would like to be on the show and share your perspective on what's happening between Haitians and Dominicans, please feel free to get in touch with me. Email me and I will reply. And you can find the email in the description, and I'm sure Mercedes will share it. You guys can get in touch with me, and I'd love to have you as a Dominican here to share your perspective. That sounds sad. The person is mistreated more in Haiti than in the DR, and that is the reality. Do you feel that way, that Haitians are mistreated more in Haiti than in the DR?
Uh,
Just outside looking in, would you? How do you see that
I,
statement that I made? And what do you guys think? Do you think that Haitians are mistreated more in Haiti than in the DR? Maybe it's me.
well, the people I've talked to, the Haitians that I've talked to, that I know, and some Americans that I know very well that are very in tune with what's going on there more than I am, they would say yes. They would say that Haitians, the worst enemy of a Haitian is another Haitian. I mean, that's so take it for what it is. But that it seems like that you know it seems like there's mistreatment among their own of their own country. But I think that's driven really by economics and mistrust. And I see it in Ghana. I'm sorry, I've been to Ghana more. I've been to Ghana more, spent more time there than the DR. When you add up the time, Ghana, they mistrust each other all day long. You do a project over there, and they tell you need 100 bags of cement to build a wall, and really only needs to be 50, and you don't know any better. Well, guess what? It's only 50 bags. The 100's gone. The other 50 bags went to the guy that was doing the work. He stole them and used it on another project or used it on his own home. So, I mean, yeah, yeah, it's rampant. It's rampant. I think like I said, I think it's economics. The poorer the country, the usually my theory is the poorer the country, the more there's mistrust among people, and the desperation sets in. When there's more wealth, then there's more. There seems to be a little bit more trust.
True. There's a bigger mistreatment in Haiti. Well said. And that's where the focus should be. Thank you, Pan Americanism. And every day, guys, we do our part here with Life in Haiti. So I encourage you guys to please check out our new website and check out the work that we here do in Haiti, because Haiti is our country, and it does take us to start putting our heads together and doing something great to represent the country of Haiti and to assist, especially the future of Haiti. We have too many young children who are innocent, unable to go to school, who continue to be a victim of what's happening on the ground here in Haiti. So, you guys, we encourage you, if you would like to check out other uploads, check out what we do, just please subscribe and follow this channel. That way you could see the work that I have. I am the founder here in Haiti, the work we've been able to do. Pan Americanism says if Haitians move to other island, it's gonna be the same treatment because Haiti has the highest population in the Caribbean. Is that true? Do we? Nah, I'm not sure about that.
I
Maybe
think
you
I
can
think
join a live one day. Are you in the DR? Yes. What were you saying?
I think the population in Haiti and Dominican Republic are almost neck and neck. As far there's a Cuba's lost people, so that used to be the biggest island, population wise. Cuba's losing people hand over fist. Leaving out of there. So I think I don't know which one's greater. I don't know if it's Haiti or Dominican Republic, but regardless of whatever it is, there's not enough. There's not enough growth or anything on these other islands. Like I said, if I was a Haitian, I would, and for the economics and being close to my country, I would be in the Dominican Republic. I mean, that's where the growth is at. There isn't any other Caribbean island you could think of where there's the type of growth there's going on in DR. And why is there growth there? Because you got so many Americans, Canadians, and Europeans that want to come there to either to visit or live. They're not, how many Europeans or Americans are saying, I want to go live in Jamaica. I can't wait. Get on that plane to go there. They're not. Yeah, I mean, it's just, yeah. Kingston, yeah. People talk about Port-au-Prince. Kingston is no. is no picnic either. The crime is very high in Kingston, so it isn't like that. You know, Port-au-Prince is the only city in the Caribbean that has it's rough. There's other places not as rough as Port-au-Prince, but there's other problems in these other islands. They're not. They're not as safe as everybody might think they are.
That's true. Generation Love says the traffic in Santo Domingo now in spots is horrific. Haitians need to move as they are in Burkina Faso minus the NWO surveillance system. Become the revolutionary Hebrew Israelite bloodline. Thank you so much, Generation Love. I agree with you 100%. Guy Fados Lopez says there is a YouTuber from Bolivia who went to Haiti and almost got lynched in the streets because people thought he was Dominican. So I believe the Haitians hate us more than we them. Because I don't know the complete details behind that, I would not say yes or no. But what many of us can account is how often do you hear in Haiti Dominicans are discriminated against? I will not say that did or did not happen because I wasn't there, so I'm not going to defend what I don't know complete details about. But I could Haitians love having people to come in and visit this country. There is a pride with the Haitian people when people come into Haiti and visit. I went to Labadie. When you go to different areas of Haiti, Dominicans are there. Matter of fact, there are many Dominicans who live in the Port-au-Prince area in Haiti as we speak. They're in the streets of Haiti, and absolutely no one, the government is targeting them directly. What I think could have happened there, as a content creator myself, I am Haitian and I still run into some difficulties when creating content out and about. Our people are very sensitive, and when it comes to filming, they could easily assume that you're filming for the wrong reasons and possibly respond the wrong way, right? But doesn't make it that it is because you are Dominican. It could have been because he is filming and maybe they didn't understand what's going on. Maybe they didn't want to be filmed, didn't want to know what was going on. I don't think it had something to do with directly them being Dominican and that or not Dominican. My opinion. What do you think that it was? What do you think about that situation? That that comment.
I mean, they might have been filming. For you, it's not safe for anybody else to film in certain areas. Because of what you just said, and then some. So that person might have been filming where they shouldn't have, and they filmed the wrong person or whatever was going on, and that obviously it could have been
I could
anybody
have.
out there filming. So that if I had to guess, if I had to take a guess, I'd say that's probably more so what it would have been.
Yeah, probably most likely it was something like that. But since we weren't there, don't know the whole situation. Um, I won't pass judgment. I would not say yes or not. We hear the
You can,
stories of.
no, even in Dominican Republic, I've seen people get snatched up for filming in the DR. So there's some people that don't want to be filmed. Maybe something's going on with the police and they're beating somebody and they shouldn't be, and somebody's filming it. That could, obviously that could get you in trouble if they see you. Um, you know, there could be certain areas in there that they don't like to be filmed. some of the resort areas. Um,
Mhm.
so I mean,
And it's
I
all for reasons, right?
right, right. There's a reason behind it. It's not the person per se.
Hmm.
I personally don't film very little. I film when I go out of the country, and it's just because I'm not one to go and do sit there hold my phone up taking pictures and all. I'm just not into that. If I do, I mean, I might take a picture of my Airbnb, or if I'm out on the beach to go into the ocean. There might be a few people getting in the way or in the water or something like that. But that's really about it. Or filming a friend. We're having some drink somewhere or something like that. But other than that, just to walk around,
You're not a content creator.
yeah,
Don't don't
and
don't
do,
judge us.
yeah, just go around and say, I just, that isn't, I just, out of respect, even if I was out of respect, I just couldn't do it. So that's just me.
Yeah, I heard a recent story with a young man who is a YouTuber, and he was going around filming, and that was a big problem for people. So you got to be careful, especially in Haiti. It is very sensitive filming. So when you get content where content creators are out and about, I'd say more on the outskirts of Haiti, the countryside. They're more relaxed because there's not a lot going on. But when you're in the Port-au-Prince area, it's more tense, more stress, and people, for one, they're wanting to protect themselves. And I started not to take that personal because people could be thinking, why is she filming? Who is she sharing this footages with? For whatever reasons, because of things which is happening on the ground, right? But let me ask you this. We hear the stories of Dominicans hiding and helping Haitians. Do you think these acts of kindness reflect a silent majority
I
that don't? Hmm.
I mean, there's one. It depends. There's certain relationships they might have too. I'll give you an example. That I know of. There's a lot of Europeans and Canadians and American men that are down there in the DR that have Haitian girlfriends. They're going to protect them. Basically with their money is what it comes down to. They got a big nice place that they live in. With high walls and everything. The Dominican immigration's not going to come, with a sledgehammer and try to get into a gated community to go find one person that's sitting in a luxury home. I mean, that's an extreme case. So, everybody has an interest of why they make the decisions they do. That's one, but it could be locals there. It could be a contractor. It could be a contractor saying, "Hey, I need these guys. These are good workers. I'm going to do what I can to protect them." And maybe they got a decent home wherever they live, and on a wall, property's got a high wall. I mean, they're staying in there with them. It could be any number of things.
Mm. I just received an email, which is a really nice. It's a good question. So if you guys have a question, you don't want to put it in the chat, you want to email it to me, feel free. I wanted to ask a question. Do they issue birth certificates when you are born in Haiti? I've noticed that most of the people crossing over to the DR have no type of documentation. That is the main reason why they deport Haitians. It's also main reason they can never get paperwork to stay in the DR. I'll answer your first question. When someone is born in Haiti, are they issued birth certificates? They're not automatically issued. You have to go through the process and claim your birth certificate. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Some of you guys who may understand the process better, um, you can even share with me in the background. But birth certificates is a process. You have to go in, register. and actually get your birth certificates done, but you do get your birth certificate. To now day and age, hospitals, if that child is born in a hospital, then they will issue it. But not every child in Haiti is born in a hospital. You notice that most of them crossing over do not have any type of documentation. I want to say that may not be true. And I'm going to answer this from something that I heard. A lot of Haitians, when crossing over, are robbed. And I'll use an example. I have a cousin of mine who crossed over to the Dominican Republic. He crossed over with all of his paperwork, and during the process of crossing over, was robbed for all of his documents. The border has been closed, supposed to be closed for maybe the last 2 years for Haitian people. And a lot of them that's going through that guide, the illegal way, many of them have been robbed. And once they are robbed, all of their documents are taken. I mean, so somehow I don't condone what's happening, but it seems to be intentional that once they rob a Haitian person, they specifically take their passports, all identification, so once they get to the Dominican Republic, it will look like that Haitian person do not have a passport. They do not have any form of identification. So if a lot of Haitians are in the DR without identification, that could very well be a reason, because I don't hear many people talking about, but that has been the testimony of many Haitians that attempted to cross over from Haiti to DR. Jean says, I heard crime was worse in Jamaica. I can't believe that though. I'm not sure, because people will say that Haiti have more crimes than anywhere else. Every country have its struggle. I'll say that. Some is worse than others, but every country have its struggle. Arlene says, especially if you are filming without permission, which a lot of content creators they do. It had nothing to do with filming. When they overheard him speaking Spanish, they would ask him if he was Dominican, and he instantly had to say he wasn't Dominican. As I mentioned, I was not there, so I cannot dispute what did not happen. But I have not experienced any Haitian people who would mistreat a Dominican. Even our government is not anti-Dominican as much as the Dominican government is vocal about being anti-Haitian. Would you agree with me on that, Mr. Joe?
Repeat what you said. I wasn't getting the whole thing.
That the Dominican Republic, their government is more anti-Haitian than the Haitian government.
Yeah, that'd probably be a safe statement, but again, it's all tied to economics too. I mean, the Haiti, we really don't have a government at this point, so you probably have to ask others that have a little bit of power there how they feel about Dominicans being in their country.
True. I hear when a Haitian show his papers, the police destroy them and say they have no papers. I don't know about that, but I do know that many of the Haitians have been a victim to crime. I thank you so much, Mr. Joe, for joining me live tonight. Any last words before we part ways tonight on the live? Thank you so much for joining us. Any conclusions before we end?
No, I think we covered just about everything we need to cover on it. So we know we identified the problem. We know the stuff activities going on over in the DR, and then really I propose a solution. What I think is, in my opinion, would resolve a lot of it. Not all of it, but at least bring the temperature down a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Well, a lot of people would say that America cannot take on the responsibility of taking care of the Haitian people. And I really don't agree with that, because if America take on the responsibility of making deals with Dominicans to take care of the Haitian people or to accept so many Haitians, I think that will make us a lot more lazier and discourage us from doing what we need to do to stabilize our own country. Because now people will be thinking, oh, well, you're getting money from such and such to take us in. And that would not be a very good idea. That's just my opinion. But I thank you so much, Mr. Joe, and we will talk soon. You have a blessed night.
All right, take care.
You too. You too. Yes, guys, I thank you all so much for tuning in tonight. Happy Mother's Day, everyone. I'm hoping you guys are having a blessed day. And to many of you guys who may be moaning your mothers as well, or if you're like myself, may not have had the best relationship as far as mothers go, that is something that I'm glad I've been blessed with great examples of it. But when we talk about biological mothers, and the examples for me have not been the greatest example, I realize that Mother's Day is a day that, we celebrate, but then somehow deep inside, I've always had my own issues with Mother's Day because of the fact that there's always been that emptiness, wondering, why is it that my mother was not as active? Why was it that my mother was not this, was not that? So if you are like myself, just be blessed. Today I'm thankful that I've been blessed with the opportunity to meet my biological mother and to establish a relationship with my biological mother. Many of you guys, you may not be a biological mother, but I know some of you guys that have been a lot more of a mother than someone who biologically carried a child for 9 months. So, as we celebrate Mother's Day, don't remove yourself because you didn't carry a child for 9 months. And those who adopt, those who continue to love, and like myself, I would say I have a ton of kids because look at all the kids we tend to, all the kids that we love on, guys. It's a blessing to be able to um, be a good example to so many kids. And I just thank you guys so much. If you are a mother and maybe you are struggling right now and going through some life changes, get it together. Be a good mother if you can, so that stories like myself, would start coming to an end. Thank you so much, Exandria. Thank you so much. Happy Mother's Day, Marie. Thank you. Happy Mother's Day, but it's not Happy Mother's Day, but it's not for Haiti right now. I know, guys. Our Mother's Day will be in the next 2 weeks. The problem is too too many Haitians in the Dominican Republic. One thing I agree, guys, is that Haitian people do need to come on back home. At some point, there is only so much. There is only so many Haitian people that Dominican Republic can take in. For that, I will be fair. My main issue is the way Haitians are mistreated by a developing country, Dominican Republic. There should be a human way for it to be done. And if every other nationality can gain a legal path to go and visit or have a temporary stay, I believe that Haitians should get the same opportunity. If someone go to the Dominican Republic who's Haitian and commit crimes and do what they know that they are not supposed to do, then yes, whatever happens to them, they deserve to be returned back home. They deserve to not have the opportunity to be removed from certain situations in Haiti. But most Haitian people are not committing crimes in the Dominican Republic, just as most Haitian people are not committing crimes in America. Most of the Haitian people just want to live. They just want to escape the madness which is happening right now on the ground in Haiti, guys. So I hope you can understand why Haitian people want to leave Haiti. Why are they migrating in mass, and heading to places that don't want them there? Because of the fear, guys. When you are in your own home and fear is overtaking you, at any time you could be invaded, anything can happen, and you feel as if you're hopeless. I think that is the position many Haitian people is in today, that causes the problems that we see. You guys be blessed. Thank each and every one of you guys for tuning in. We need more love for humanity. Yes, maybe there are things that we should not accept, but there should be a human way to do it. Love you guys. Happy Mother's Day. Be kind to one another, be kind to yourself, and don't forget to tell somebody you love them. Love you guys. Good night. Happy Monday.